Hi, my name is Natasha Wright, and you are tuned in to Event Gems, where I will discuss all things event related and take a deep dive into creating concepts, marketing, and execution for your next biz event. My goal is to bring you industry experts who can help you properly monetize and effectively strategize so that you can make your business shine.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Event Gems. I am your host, Natasha Wright, Chief Experience Curator of the Diamond Butterfly. And today I am joined by my guest, Sade Y. Adu. So Sade is a digital brand strategist, best-selling author, international speaker, and she helps women entrepreneurs use the power of social media, live streaming to brand, build, and monetize digital products and services, right? Sade has been featured in Hello Beautiful, Black Enterprise, The Network Journal, and Rachel Ray Show. So please give a warm welcome to Sade Y. Adu.
Thank you so much for having me. I hope everyone is doing well.
Yes, welcome. Thank you for being here. So with everything that was happening with the coronavirus, COVID-19, I really wanted to bring someone on who dealt with like crisis management for events. And I was scrolling through Facebook one day and you were talking about, why entrepreneurs and small business owners need to start utilizing virtual events now. And I said to myself, what better way is there to manage a crisis for entrepreneurs than for them to pivot and take and look at the possibilities, right, of everything that's happening right now. Not looking at the crisis so much, but what are the opportunities that can come out of it? And I started following you a while back on Periscope. And that was probably about 4 or 5 years ago or so.
Yes.
Honestly, I don't even know if Periscope is still popping like that anymore. But then I started following you on Facebook and Instagram. And one of the things that I noticed about you is that you've always talked about the power of live streaming and how business owners need to build their brands online, right? And so with that being said, with everything that's happening, we see concerts popping up online. We see D-Nice, DJing for the people and for the world. Erykah Badu had a concert. Anthony Hamilton had a concert. What are some of the shifts that we can expect in different industries? As someone who's an expert in building businesses online and live streaming, what are some of the shifts that we're going to see as a result of COVID-19 and as a result of us being quarantined, quite frankly?
So we're already seeing that shift.
Yeah.
It's happening quickly. Over what we thought would happen over the course of years is happening instantaneously,
right,
because of this situation, COVID-19, novel coronavirus.
Right.
But like you said, I try to look at it as a opportunity. An opportunity for solution makers, difference makers to put their thinking caps on and figure out how can we still be successful. So I am not a medical doctor. I'm not an engineer or scientist. So there's not much that I can do on that end. But I am a thinker and I am an entrepreneur. So there's things that I can do and contribute to making this world a better place on my end. So that's how I look at it. The first thing we noticed that a lot of people were nervous and scared. There was high anxiety and fear.
Yeah.
We can't function in fear and anxiety. So the first thing that, as a speaker, as somebody who wants to inspire and empower people, was to let them take control back of their lives. That it looks like the sky is falling, and it actually may be.
Right.
But you are prepared with the tools, the skill set, and the mindset to be successful. We've survived 9/11. The 2008 recession. And if you're older, you've survived way more these things. And we're going to survive and we're going to thrive and we're going to learn and we're going to evolve. It's just happening faster than we anticipated.
Right.
Who knew 2 months ago that we would be here today? And we have no idea where we will be 2 months from now. So the best thing that we can do is to continue to move forward, position ourselves, and pivot in a way. So we're talking about industries. We're seeing a major shift to digital learning.
Absolutely.
Online courses, schools have been impacted. Students still need to be able to get access to education, and many of them are doing it online, but it presented new problems. Some students didn't have access to computers or to internet and Wi-Fi at home to do their homework, so that presented a new problem. And then we saw school districts stepping up providing, some of them who had the money, providing Chromebooks. There was a bus that had Wi-Fi on it that would come and provide lunches for children
Nice.
below the poverty line. So as new problems presented itself, we saw new people creating new solutions. We see that there's a mass shortage of, I got some here, it's the last one I got, of white.
Yes, absolutely. It's like gold, right?
Sanitizer. I mean, this stuff is like the black market. This is like
exactly.
You got it. You got it. I mean, we're seeing that, but we're also seeing companies like Bacardi shifting to creating hand sanitizer. An alcohol company is making sanitizer.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
The high fashion designers shifting to make masks. They have the team, they have the production, they have the factories, and they're shifting and pivoting. So as we are seeing a worldwide crisis, I've talked to people in Saudi Arabia who have been stuck there. I've talked to people in the Philippines. I'm talking to people from around the world. I have friends in Taiwan. How are you doing there? Literally, this is not just something that hit one place. It hit all of us at the same time. So it's going to require all of us to come together and be a little bit wiser. Going back to entrepreneurs, especially if you run your business from home, you've already had an advantage. Now it's just time for you to take it on super drive. Take it to the next level. Now we have a captive audience. Like, you have no excuse. If you have internet, a computer, and a phone, you can have a business, because now you have a platform and people are watching. You talked about D Nice. D Nice, I said he's going to be booked and busy. And before this,
yes, absolutely.
Something popped up that he's going to be DJing at Essence Fest.
Oh, nice. Yes, yes.
So hopefully this is all done. And he's doing what he always has done, doing live streaming. Now you're going to see more DJs doing this. DJs have already embraced live video, and you're going to see more people doing that and taking full advantage of it. We're coming close together. We got no other choice. If we want to survive, it's going to require all of us to take part and be responsible in this new era. This is a new world.
Yeah.
It's not going to be the same after this. Any person who's alive right now is going to be like, I remember.
Exactly. I remember what I was doing.
We're going to be telling stories to our grandkids. This
true.
It came and we had to stay home for who knows how. They're going to be like, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is a new world, and it's going to require. This morning, I was teaching somebody how to use Zoom. Last week, I was there's an event space, and we are providing some opportunities for a small group of people to go into the space and record live.
Nice.
So they can still record out their events from a event space and just have no one else in the audience. And
that's good.
So we were testing that out. We are talking about how can we support other industries that have been heavily impacted, like the beauty industry. How can we pivot in real estate? How can we pivot in sports? So I'm talking to different people about different things, and they're bringing up new ideas and solve problems. That's one of the great things about us. We have the power of critical thinking.
Exactly.
Eventually, we're going to figure this out. We haven't figured it out right now, and it is stressful while we haven't figured it out. But because the stress level is so high and so much is depending on us being successful, it's going to force us to create solutions faster. People who were not in position, they are scrambling trying to figure this thing out. But luckily, there's still an opportunity. There's a lesson that we're going to learn from this, and there's going to be even better that comes out of it. And once we're able to get off of quarantine, the parties,
you're like, let's go. Let's go.
It's going to be an entirely different situation. And one thing I also want to know, I know I keep going, but they're also in politics, things that we thought would not be possible. Are happening. We're getting closer to socialism every day.
Yeah.
We're getting tax, universal health care, things that were taught to be this horrible thing. All of a sudden, things are happening faster. Red tape is just being cut. Things are being implemented in rapid speed because we need this in order for people to survive. So I feel like we're definitely going to learn some things from this. Life is going to be different. I think people are also going to be more hygienic. I think that's all
they need to be. I hope so.
We actually are becoming a more compassionate world. We see TJ Maxx is closed down. They donated all their food. We saw that the medical show used real equipment, and they are donating that equipment to hospitals where those shows film, like Grey's Anatomy and The Resident. Those medical-based shows, they have gloves. They have the N95 mask. So they are leveraging their surplus because they can't record or film right now, and they're giving them back to the medical field. So there's a lot of compassion happening. There's a lot of good things happening. We still have a ton of problems, but there are people who are doing some powerful things and really getting more people to think about how can we, if this is our new normal, how do we thrive in this new society?
Right. I think that's awesome. And I feel like you touched on so many different industries, and it's fantastic. And one of the biggest takeaways I heard you say is, or I heard from what you said, is you have to, every industry basically has to pivot right now. Every industry has to think about, well, what is next? What is new, right? So you also have to be innovative. And so, you know, with myself as an event manager and event planner, one of the things that I saw from the projects that I was working on is cancellation after cancellation, postponement after postponement for events, right? And so I thought that it was so great when you were talking about, one of the things that you spoke about, first of all, from the live stream that I watched, is how this situation is magnifying things that were lacking or things that weren't happening to support society and communities or businesses, right? And so I feel like that's a great way to segue into virtual events, right? So one of the things is we've thought about live events. We know that live events are a great way, especially for business owners, for us to be able to market our business, to have that face-to-face contact. And actually, that's one of the value propositions, right, of live events, is that you'll be able to make great contacts, you'll be able to interact with products and different services in a more meaningful way. But now that we are having to shift to virtual events, can you talk about what are some of the challenges for people who might want to try to replicate a live event in the virtual space, and what would that look like?
So some of the challenges would be that it's not an in-person event. Human touch, human interaction, network is powerful. It's a part of what we need to survive in this world. So, and I was posting about the virtual events, and someone said, it's not the same. And you're absolutely right. It's not the same. But I
feel like people said that about e-learning, right, a few years ago.
It's
so I
not
worked
the
with a
same.
startup company 10 years ago, and it was e-learning. Yeah, exactly.
Get with it.
Exactly.
We've supported about 5,000 people in a virtual conference. That was one that I hosted a long time ago.
Wow.
That was a lot of bells and whistles. And then I've also been on teams, and I think we've had about over 2,000, possibly 3,000 people live streaming at the same time, interacting. It was with a live conference, and they're answering questions, they're asking things, we're calling them on the phone, and we're making it as interactive as possible. And I will tell you, even though they were not there at the event, they still experienced transformation. It's so funny. I was on Eventbrite this morning because I'm supporting some other people with events coming up, and it says host online events. Eventbrite has never said that. If you go to their page now, it says let's do online events. Why? Because Eventbrite is a platform, a marketplace for events. So if all of these events around the world are getting canceled, it's impacting their business model.
Absolutely.
So it's super important. So they are shifting and encouraging people, don't cancel, use a digital platform. So now what's going to be the difference is actually taking it up a notch with your digital events and creating experiences, doing things that, pushing the envelope, having better video, having better audio and camera, and actually creating your own TV shows, or you're creating your own virtual experiences and still involving people. That's the important piece of this. E-learning has worked. People have gotten degrees. People have done multiple things. Virtual reality, e-learning, these things have been here. Now we just got to include them in what we're doing.
Exactly.
So more people are using Zoom. Zoom is free for K through 12 right now. And then people who've never used the technology before, they don't know how to turn their lights on, their cameras. They don't know what they're doing. But now it's just time for me to be like, okay, I was like, you know what? We really got to talk more about live streaming.
Exactly.
And how to effectively do it. Because don't know. And I
Mm-hmm.
said, oh my goodness, this is an opportunity for me to talk more about live stream. I have a class called Live Stream for Profit. I was like, I probably should do something with that
Mm-hmm.
this
Mm-hmm.
month and next month, because people are actively involved. Now people are, D Nice went viral. Now more people are going to be looking at doing live streaming. And even in the onset, you talked about Periscope.
Right.
There were people doing some stuff. I was like, wait a minute, they're taking it to the next level. There were people doing virtual home tours. There are,
Nice.
I don't know for a fact that people were selling like $1 million homes just by live video.
I can see that happening for sure. Yeah.
There's going to be a shift,
Mm-hmm.
and people are going to have to be more creative. The fitness people, have fitness clients. I'm like, listen, you better get on video and start offering classes. People are telling you they can't go to the gym. They're telling you they need some interaction. So it's time to go to the class. People who are creating experiences, because now they said 80% of 80% of marketing is going to be video by like 2025 or 2020.
Mm-hmm.
That's about to change right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's about to happen faster.
Mm-hmm.
More video is already taking over, and now we are a captive audience, and now celebrities, their shows are canceled.
Mm-hmm.
They're available too.
Exactly.
So they're getting into the digital space as well, and they already got a fan base and an audience. So
Mm-hmm.
they're also participating in this digital revolution as well. So there are challenges, but these are opportunities where you don't necessarily have to cancel the event.
Mm-hmm.
You can still have speakers come on. You can still have a DJ. We've seen that. You can still create music. You can still decorate your backdrops and backgrounds if you want to, or you can use green screen.
Mm-hmm.
Create virtual backgrounds. You still can have people Q&A. You can still do networking opportunities. And even I've told people you can still have food if depending on how, the restaurants are on your area, you could do a DoorDash to people, tell everybody, bring your favorite drink, bring
That's a great idea.
We're going to eat, we're going to have a lunch and learn together. Everybody bring their own meal from their home.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just going to require us to be more creative when it comes to events, because this is just what the reality is right now. And it's temporary.
Mm-hmm.
That's super important. This is not a forever thing. This is a temporary speck of time in our lives that if we cooperate, we'll get through faster.
Yes.
And then also it's going to change. Once we get through it, you're going to see more people hosting virtual events or having live stream ticket options. You're going to see people getting better with their video experiences.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like, man, I want more lights. I want more cameras.
Exactly.
I need to use more. What is this? I got all these gadgets. I need to start using them more.
Yeah, because it adds to the experience for people, right? Like, absolutely. If you have good lighting, if you have a nice setup, like it adds to the overall experience that you were talking about for people. And you want to be able to like pull them in some way in a way that you're not able to do that typically not able to do that online. You got to start thinking about like, well, how can I really surround people in this experience? And I love what you talked about with, DoorDash and people eating from home. I feel like that's a way for everyone to feel related to other people in a way. And so once you feel that relatedness, then it kind of like opens you up for whatever transformational shift is going to happen, but also for you to feel more connected to them and figure out a way for you to network as well too, right? So so how are people able to network? You talked about networking. So I want to know, like, how are people able to network in these virtual conferences or virtual summits? What does that look like? What are some tools that people can utilize in order for them to be able to have these virtual events?
Absolutely. So I would suggest right now, if you're hosting a virtual event, make sure you have an adjacent Facebook group or some type of community where people can interact. They can post on social media. They can hashtag. They can take selfies of themselves. You tell them to get dressed up. Someone I was talking to said they're going to a Roaring 20s party on Friday.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Said, oh, we're getting fancy. People are dressing up and they're going to listen to music and dance from home.
Nice. I love that.
I was like, that's really cool. Now, Netflix is doing these virtual parties as well, where you can watch with people and interact and have conversations. So that's what it really is, providing people with a platform to communicate with each other. And there is what is it called? There's an option in Zoom called breakout rooms. And in the breakout rooms, if you have a Zoom webinar or a Zoom meeting, you can divide the people in the webinar or in the meeting into smaller groups. Or study groups. And they can be 2 to 3 people or more, depending on how many people you have on a broadcast. And they get a chance to be in a small group of 2 to 3, even 10 people, and they get to talk to each other. A lot of times it's the person who's talking, the teacher, the course creator is doing most of the talking. But when I want my clients or my students to communicate with each other, I'll say, okay, we're going to do a 5-minute breakout room. And 100% of the time, every time we do breakout rooms, I'll say 5 minutes, 3 minutes. They'll say, you did not give us enough time.
That's awesome.
They make friends. They're smiling at the end of it. They're so excited because most people don't utilize that tool in Zoom. Where you can divide up the people who are watching and have them communicate. So if you say you're doing an exercise, maybe for me, we're doing elevator pitches. How do you effectively communicate your brand message? So I'll teach on it. I'll talk about it. I'll give some examples. And then I'll say, okay, well, here's your worksheet. Here is your opportunity to learn I want you to practice it, put it in and implement it. So I'll break them up into 3 or 4 people, and then each person can practice their elevator pitch in a smaller group. For the people who are nervous of talking in larger groups, even on Zoom, even in like digital media, giving them an opportunity to talk to just one other person or 2 other people opens them up. It breaks the ice. And by the time class is over, they feel excitement and fulfillment. Because a lot of times, if you have a larger class, even in real life, there are kids that may feel like, or students that feel like they're not getting the attention that they want. So those breakout rooms offer an opportunity for networking. They offer an opportunity for small group activity and small group work. And they give people who may not usually speak up, they make them feel more comfortable to chat. And usually, I mean, I haven't heard anything negative about these groups. Maybe somebody is a little silly or crazy, but other than that, most people love that opportunity. And I tell them, see that we've done this, do it too, because most people don't even know that option is available.
Exactly. And especially for the introverts, that, extends to the virtual world as well. It's like, okay, well, where can I go? Where can I find, like smaller groups or smaller conversations that are happening? Because I don't want to like stick out in this larger group too, right? So it's also being able to cater to different people's learning styles. And I love that you brought that up because a lot of people don't know about that. I didn't know about that, right? I'm a new user to Zoom, and for the most part, I use it for the podcast. Outside of that, some of the meetings that I've been doing lately have been on Zoom, but I don't know about all the facets or technology that the platform has to offer. So that means that I need to go brush up on that myself. And I hope that you guys are hearing everything that she's saying about what tools you can utilize. Is there any other tool that you can talk about that someone might need in order for them to host a virtual event? In terms of the registration process, I know you mentioned that.
Got it. So I would still do the same registration process that you already have in place for a regular event.
Okay.
A landing page in it where you're able to collect their name and their email address. You can still use Eventbrite.
Okay.
Whatever you were already using, or you can use Zoom registration for webinars.
Okay.
Whatever you were already using for an in-person event, you still want to do that because you can collect payment. So when you're collecting the payment, you usually have their contact information to remind them, to give them their ticket, to give them information about where the event is, what the dress code is, when they need to be there, and what the agenda is. You can do absolutely all of those things. And for some virtual events, you can actually take lunch breaks. You can have breaks in between. And then you say, okay, we're gonna work for an hour. And I've had that too, virtual working hours. We work for 45 minutes. We take a 15-minute break. We work and then we keep coming back. So there are different ways to do it. But what other tools would I say? I like Be Live. Some people like StreamYard. If you want to get really fancy, some people use like a Wirecast.
Okay.
There are different platforms that you can use. But if you're just starting out,
Zoom is the best option.
Works perfectly. Just make sure you have a quiet background. Make sure you have good video and great audio. Those are the basics. And like I would say a non-distracting background. So that, and it doesn't have to be this is just like a backdrop. You can do a lifestyle background, whatever, works for you, but make sure that it's, you want it to look appealing, especially if people are recording it. You don't want, dirty walls and grime to be seen. Even if it's there, you want it, you want a certain aesthetic because it is a reflection of your brand. And if you're hosting an event and you're charging people, you do want to have some kind of like aesthetic to your back.
Absolutely.
Office, but that you definitely want to stage that. I think that's important.
And then, so for people who this is their first time ever even considering hosting a virtual event, right? Do you recommend that they charge for the event, they offer it as a free option, and then possibly because I've seen that with some virtual events is that it's a free event, but then you can get the all access pass for $97 or something like that. For someone who hasn't done a virtual event before, would you recommend them charge right away, or do you recommend that they do it free and then possibly repurpose the content and monetize that later on?
So it totally depends on what their goal is. If your goal is for lead generation and you just want to get more people on your email list, then the easiest way is to offer something free. And then you can make a sell on the back end. You can do an all access pass. I've definitely done that too. We do, usually it's a virtual summit or interview series where you have a ton of people, and then at the end of it, or in between it, they can purchase the all access pass for a number of prices. The other option is if you already have an event on over the next, I would say 2 months, and people have already paid for it, don't change the price. Still charge them. I was looking at it, was an event that's supposed to be in person. I think they had like 1,000 people that were attending. It's the virtual ticket is the same price as the
really? Because a lot of strategies that I've been seeing happening is that the virtual event is, cheaper or maybe half the price of whatever the live event.
That's an option too. It all depends on what the perception of value, and the goal of the event producer. If they want more leads, it's cheaper to get them in for free. If you already got an event and you don't feel like refunding people, or you just want to if you still say you're going to create that valuable experience virtually, then guess what? You're going to keep it as such. And be okay with that. So and they said they would get access to all of the trainings. They just added more value. I've seen some people that said, if you stick with this event, we're going to do a virtual version of it, but we will eventually do the live event. And because you stuck around, you didn't ask for a refund, we're going to upgrade your ticket. So some people are promising that if you stay around, you're going to make the experience even better.
Awesome.
What we originally imagined. And it's going to mean so much more when we're able to get off of quarantine. So
and we are looking forward to that.
Woo!
Amen.
Great. Quarantine. That's gonna be a day. That's gonna be.
Listen, somebody needs to do some party, whether it be virtual or live, because people are gonna be looking for something like that.
It's gonna be a party. I don't know where it's gonna be, but it's gonna be a good one.
Exactly.
To go crazy. It's gonna be. I think it's going to be insane, but I'm looking forward to the day. I don't know when it's going to happen, but I'm looking forward to it. So it's just about, it's really about what your goals are. The overhead is much cheaper to do a virtual event than to do it in person. You got to pay for a venue. Food has gone down. The main thing is you got to make sure you have a computer and, good Wi-Fi. So your cost has gone down. But if you're somebody who's been doing this and you got a studio and you're doing, dramatics, you may want to charge a little bit more. And it's also about the person's perceived value. Do you want people who are it depends on what your goals are. Do you want people who are ready to invest a ticket price now? Or do you want people who are going to just be free and maybe not be interested in what you're offering? It really depends on the person's objectives. So for me, we do charge for a live stream ticket. It's going to probably be the same price. If you want to come in person, regular admission, and you want to do live, it's going to be the same price at this point. I'm not going to change it.
Okay.
But and then the price is going to increase if you want to do so that you get an option. It's flexible. If you cannot come in person, you will still have an option to do the live stream ticket. So it depends what your goals are, how many people you want to attend the event, and the perception of value. If people see value there, they'll pay for it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's with any event, whether it be live or virtual. So with that being said, please share one last gem with the people. It could be about anything. It could be about events, online businesses, personal, whatever it is. Let us know one last event gem that you'd like to share with us.
Now is the time.
Nice.
Don't give up. I think that's two, but now is the time to just not give up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there is an active audience. They are waiting to be captivated. It's but so many Netflix movies they can watch over 2 weeks or 30 days. They're looking for information. They're looking for knowledge. They're looking for you. If you can put an event together virtually over the next couple of weeks, you're going to have a captive audience. There are people who are ready to say yes to what you have to offer. So just go for it. And we're looking forward to supporting you in some way, shape, or form.
Awesome. Now is the time. So with that being said, Sade, please let everyone know how they can follow you online and stay connected with you.
You can follow me on the internet at Future Dr. Shade, Future Dr. Shade. You can connect with me in my Facebook group at breakfastbranding.com, because breakfast is the most important meal of the day, and so is your brand. So breakfastbranding.com and Future Dr. Shade. And I would love to connect with you and let me know that you found me here.
Yeah, so I've been following her for a while. Like I said, guys, she shares amazing information. She's constantly live streaming. So if you really want to get amazing content and amazing tips to really build your business and your brand, you want to be following her. So with that being said, thank you so much for joining us today on Event Gems. Thank you so much for joining me, Sade. Why adieu, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.